46 years, Fidel Castro has forged special relationships with authoritarian regimes such as Russia, Vietnam, and especially Algeria, which had long been at odds with Morocco over the country's shared border. In 1963, Fidel Castro publicly set his sights on Africa.
Contra los residuos del colonialismo, contra el neocolonialismo y contra el imperialismo en África. En la medida en que se expresa el espíritu internacionalista hacia nuestro pueblo, en un grado tan alto como se expresa el espíritu de la Unión Soviética hacia nosotros, en la misma medida nosotros debemos desarrollar nuestra propia conciencia internacionalista.
Fidel Castro then began to groom the Polisario into his army across the Atlantic. To this day, Cuba still provides both political and strategic support to the Polisario. This recent photo shows Mohamed Abdelaziz, the so-called president of the Polisario Front, observing Sahrawi students in Cuba with a high-ranking Cuban official. Another way that the Sahrawis are oppressed by this alliance is the theft of the international humanitarian aid on which they are dependent. There is strong evidence that the Polisario leadership sells this aid on the black market throughout North Africa. This man, Abdallah Lamani, a civilian held prisoner in the Polisario detention centers for 23 years, was a witness to this high-level corruption.
J'ai bien assisté, je sais bien comment ça se fait, les détournements là-bas, surtout c'est le détournement des médicaments. Ces médicaments sont envoyés vers la Mauritanie. Les médicaments les plus appréciés surtout sont les antibiotiques, surtout la pénicilline et l'ampicilline, les fils de suture et les vitamines, surtout la vitamine C injectable. Elle est très vendue là-bas en Mauritanie.
These pictures show the medical aid intended for the Sahrawis as well as for the prisoners rotting away in unsanitary storage while the bulk of supplies is sold on the black market throughout Africa. In 2005, former POW Ali Jawar testifies before the U.S. Congress about his experiences in the Polisario camps.
Until last year, I was a prisoner of war in southern Algeria. I was held prisoner along with 2,400 Moroccan soldiers by the Polisario Front and Algeria. In 1991, a ceasefire was put in place by the United Nations. We all should have been released at this time, but we remained prisoner for more than a decade after this, a decade. Torture, deprivation, and humiliations were routine during my 23 years. We were beaten, usually with a wire whip. I must mention a braided wire whip, nearly every day for anything that displeased our captors. Some of my friends were tortured to death by whipping, and others were left to die after being thrown in a hole and kept there without food or water. Well, I can tell you, I have a friend who refused to work. He got exhausted, and he went to rest near the wheels of a truck. And they told him, well, go and work. They said, well, I have enough. I am very tired. I can't work. You kill me if you can. We have reached despair when you were there. And then the truck, got backwards and crushed his eye. It's a real nightmare. I have another person who was there and who refused to work. Day and night we were forced to work. And they put him in a cement mixer, and he was crushed there. And there are many cases these are the cases I have said.
For as many as 27 years, the Polisario Front held Morocco prisoners of war even after the ceasefire in 1991. The Geneva Convention dictates that all prisoners of war must be released after the end of hostilities. However, not only did the Polisario continue to hold the POWs, but subjected them to terror, physical torture, slave labor, and forced blood harvesting. This footage shot by a hidden camera in 2003, illustrates the fear of the POWs being held by the Polisario.
On ne peut pas parler avec vous ici. Je n'ai rien à dire maintenant. On est peur. La surveillance. Si vous avez quelque chose à faire, de nous faire sortir de cette catastrophe. Il faut faire votre possible de nous faire sortir de cette catastrophe. Moi, j'ai 24 ans ici. On est marre de tout. Nous enquêtons. C'est ça.
Parlez-moi des gardiens.
Hein?
Comment ça, les gardiens? Les gardiens.
Les gardiens sont tous morts.
Thanks to a campaign launched by concerned citizens and pressure from the United States, the final 404 POWs were released on August 18, 2005. The prisoner of wars have been freed, but hundreds of children are still ripped from their families and sent to Cuba each year. International humanitarian aid intended for the Sahrawis is being sold for personal profit by the Polisario. The Castro's ever-strengthening alliance with the Polisario continues to terrorize the families who remain hostage in the camps. How long will this tragedy continue?